Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it's time for me to welcome you back to yet another episode of our FIFA 17 ratings predictions here. Today we have got the 9th place in the league team, I do believe, in the Barclays Premier League, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty poor when it comes to the mid-table teams in all honesty, but today we've got Stoke City. We obviously went back to Chelsea for the last episode. We're going then back up the table sort of for Stoke. But you guys wanted Chelsea a little bit more than you wanted Stoke in terms of the comment section. So we're going back to Stoke. Obviously players, some pretty young and exciting players I guess in this squad. The likes of Jack Butland, Janelli and Bula, and obviously the likes of Arnautovic, Shaqiri and Bojan as well, that we've got to be predicting for today. You guys don't know the drill by now in terms of the format. I'll show you sort of the starting 11 in terms of players and sort of predict what their rating is going to be on FIFA 17. Then we'll see the squad as I predicted it and compare that to the squad as it was at the start of FIFA 16 when it comes to Stoke. And then we'll go through some of the younger players, perhaps some of the bench and reserve players as well. No new signings, I don't believe, as far as Stoke are concerned. I know they got rid of Odemwingie, but apart from that, and Steve Sidwell since FIFA 16, but apart from that, I don't think they've actually sold anyone or bought anyone. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, I've got no one else to cover. So I suppose we should get straight on into things. Again, if you do want to enjoy this video, feel free to hit the likes button. If we could smash 100 likes, as we have been doing very regularly on this series, that'd be massively appreciated. Once again, thank you guys for the support on this predictions series. But nevertheless, the first player on this list is, of course, the goalkeeper, as per always. That is Jack Butland today, the Stoke goalkeeper, who was very unlucky not to go to the Euros, obviously breaking his leg / ankle, I think it was, like a month before the tournament or something, which is ridiculously bad luck. So he would have obviously got into the team and probably would have challenged Hart for a starting place, given how badly Joe Hart was playing throughout the tournament. But nevertheless, he was 74 at the start of FIFA 16. He then got an upgrade by 5 to 79 in January. So he got a massive January upgrade from EA, which is of course deserved because he was fantastic across the whole season. Arguably our best English goalkeeper across the entire season. So obviously that's a pretty decent accolade when there's such good goalkeepers around from England, and Jack Butland was superb throughout the whole season for Stoke, but again unfortunately got injured. I've given him a further +1 upgrade from 79 to 80, so that's +1 on his winter upgrade, but +6 as a total from the start of FIFA 16, and a potential to grow to 88. I do believe his potential at the moment is 87 on career mode, so it's not a massive change in reality, but still a very high potential, obviously keeping with the theme of a very high potential that EA gave him on FIFA 16 anyway. But yeah, 88 potential then on FIFA 17 I predicted, and a +1 upgrade from January, but overall +6 upgrade to 80 from his FIFA 16 starting card, which of course was a silver. After that, we have got the right back, and that is Glenn Johnson, someone who I fell out of love with dramatically given his form for Liverpool. But when he signed for Stoke, he seemed a lot more solid. Still a little bit haphazard defensively, but going forward, he's a very good right back, but of course getting on a little bit, so he's obviously naturally getting a little bit worse. I have left him though at 77, which was his rating at the start of FIFA 16. In all honesty, I haven't watched him quite enough to know, completely what his rating should be. But I've left it at 77. I know he got injured towards the end of the season, or certainly ousted out of the squad. I'm not entirely sure, but Phil Bardsley was playing towards the end of the season for Stoke. But I've left him at 77, with the potential, of course, of 77 as well, because I think he's in his 30s now as well. After that, we've got Ryan Shawcross, who's again had a pretty solid season for Stoke. He was 80 overall at the start of FIFA 16. I have left him at 80 overall, and the potential, of course, of 80 overall as well. So it's basically no change whatsoever here for Ryan Shawcross. No real potential gain, no real change from his overall on FIFA 16. I feel as if EA were pretty sort of fair with Ryan Shawcross on FIFA 16. So I've left him at 80 overall. His centre-back partner, though, is Philip Volscheid, who came in from Bayer Leverkusen. I thought initially it was on a loan deal, but I think whatever the case, they've signed him permanently now. He was 76 at the start of FIFA 16, I do believe, and I think EA gave him an upgrade to 77, and I've left him at 77. I think that's the case. Either that or I've given him an upgrade. I actually can't remember. He was 76 at the start of FIFA 16, whatever the circumstance. So I predicted him to have 77. So that's a +1 increase from the start of the game. And then potential to grow by a further 2, because he's in his mid-20s, up to 79 in career mode. After that, we've got Erik Pieters, who is someone that I've really been impressed with across the whole season for Stoke. The Dutch left-back. He was 74 and a rare silver at the start of the game. He was then upgraded to 75 on the game. I think he got a January upgrade from EA up to 75 and a non-rare gold card, I think. I've upgraded him by a further 2 to 77, and the potential to grow by a further 1 to 78 in career mode, because again, as I've said, I've been very impressed by him as a left back. I think he's been one of the better left backs in the league, so very good job to him, and I hope anyway that he gets the rating that he deserves, because EA sometimes aren't great at that. But I've given him a +2 upgrade from his January upgrade. After that, we've got Charlie Adam, who I don't think had one of his greatest seasons, but I have left him at 75. He was 75 at the start of FIFA 16. I've left him that way, and again, he is in his 30s, so once again, no real potential change here as well for another ex-Liverpool man, someone who again didn't do a great job over in Merseyside, but seems to have done pretty well for Stoke. I can't remember if he scored the halfway line goal this season, or was it last season? I think it was the season we've just had against Thibaut Courtois and against Chelsea, of course, which was pretty wonderful. Apologies again if that's wrong, but I think it was this season, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, leaving Charlie Adam then at 75, and the other defensive mid in this squad is Janelli Mbula, the man who signed from Porto in January. He was 77 at the start of FIFA 16 and playing for a different team. I've given him a +1 upgrade to 78 after his performances for Stoke, and he had a pretty decent campaign as well for Porto too. He is someone who, now Janelli Mbula, Stoke fans will obviously remember the debut goal I think he scored, or the goal that he scored just after he signed, which was absolutely insane for a defensive midfielder to be scoring. He's got a lot of power as well, a lot of pace and stuff. I've given him a potential of 84 because he's still pretty young. I think he's 22, so the potential in career mode then to grow by 6 and a +1 upgrade for Mbula. After that, we move on to the wingers and some of the more flair players in this squad, and the first of which we have got Xherdan Shaqiri, the man who scored one of the greatest goals I have ever seen in my life live at the Euros for Switzerland. An incredible bicycle kick from outside of the area. Did pretty well in the Euros, did as well as he probably could have done with a pretty poor squad around him. Him and Mbolo really the only main men to stand out in that squad. Xhaka was alright as well. The goalkeeper was okay, but Switzerland were pretty underwhelming. Shaqiri though had a pretty decent season. He was 80 at the start of FIFA 16. I have given it a +1 upgrade to 81 and a potential to grow in career mode to 84. That is his current potential on FIFA 16, so no real change there. The only change, in my opinion, for Shaqiri is a +1 upgrade to 81 after a pretty solid season. After that is someone who stood out even more and got a Team of the Season card from EA, and this is Marko Arnautovic, who was 78 at the start of FIFA 16. He then got a January upgrade to 79, and I have upgraded him by a further 1 to 80 overall to make it an upgrade of 2 overall from the start of FIFA 16. And given I think he's 26, I've given him the potential to grow by a couple in career mode to 82. Again, someone who was in a pretty mediocre side at the Euros for Austria this time, as opposed to Shaqiri, Switzerland. At least Shaqiri and Switzerland managed to get into the knockout stages, unlike Arnautovic and Austria, unfortunately. But Arnautovic having a wonderful season. I remember him absolutely tearing Man City apart when they played, I think twice actually, and Shaqiri as well in that game when they played Manchester City. But Arnautovic then getting an upgrade from me as well. Moving on though to Bojan, who I don't know whether he got injured or whether he's just not been in the squad, but he hasn't, in my opinion, had as much of an impact on the squad as he did the season before the one we've just had. So I've downgraded him to 80 from 81. Now there is quite a lot of logic to this, apart from just the fact that he wasn't amazing. EA have also downgraded him on offline to 80, so I can't imagine they're going to put him back up again to 81. He was at this late stage of the game cycle. He was obviously 81 at the start of FIFA 16. Offline at the moment, if you download the latest update, Bojan is only 80 overall, so he's had the downgrade, so I'm going to leave him at that, but with the potential to grow by a further 3 in career mode up to 83. The strange case of Bojan could have been an world beater, world class player. He's still very good, but probably not reached the heights that a lot of people expected him to. The final player though in the starting 11 is Mam Biram Diouf, who had a pretty decent first half of the season, then got sort of outplaced or replaced even by the likes of Peter Crouch and Joselu, the Spanish striker. He was 77 though at the start of FIFA 16. I have left him the same at 77 and then given the potential to grow by 1 to 78 because I think he is 27, so he might grow by 1 or 2 in career mode. But yeah, leaving Diouf the same. Not a bad season, not an amazing season. I've just sort of left him the same. But in the background you can see the squad as I have predicted it, the entire starting 11. Some big upgrades I suppose for the likes of Butland and also some small upgrades as well for Shaqiri, Arnautovic and etc. In the background though, now you are seeing as it was at the start of FIFA 16. The main thing you probably notice is the difference in colour of card for Jack Butland and also for Erik Pieters as well, who was a silver at the start of the game. He's a gold now, even before I predicted it, so I'm sure he'll get a further upgrade. and he is, of course, now 77 in terms of my prediction, but on the start of the game, he was 74. After that, though, it's time to move on into the players, like on the bench, some of the younger players, etc. And the first of which we have got Shay Given, who was 75 and a gold at the start of FIFA 16. I have downgraded him to 74. Not particularly because he played badly, but it's just an age thing again. It's a lot like John Terry in the Chelsea predictions video last time. A lot of the time, EA love to downgrade old players, and Shay Given is like 40 now, I swear down. So I've downgraded Shay Given from 75 to still a very high silver and 74, only a -1 downgrade. And of course, without really having to explain, his potential is obviously going to be the same as his starting rating, unless he's of course glitched, but whatever. After that, we've got Phil Bardsley, someone who managed to meander his way into the starting 11 for Stoke towards the end of the season. He's always been someone I feel is a little bit underrated. I think a lot of people just think he's absolutely diabolical, but he seems alright. To be honest, he used to play for Sunderland, now he plays for Stoke. I've left him at 72, but I was toying with the idea of giving him 73, but on the latest offline update, he's still 72, so I just sort of gave it the benefit of the doubt and left him the same. After that, we've got Munayeza, another ex-Barcelona player who's found himself on a cold, windy night in Stoke at the Britannia. Munayeza, though, a very solid centre-back in my opinion. He was a 75 overall card at the start of the game. I've given him a +1 upgrade to 76, having had a pretty decent, season. In my opinion, the way I look at it is, was he better than 75 overall across the season? In my opinion, yes. He didn't necessarily have to have an amazing standout season, but I just thought he was, pretty decent. So I've given him a +1 upgrade to 76, and then the potential of 81 in Okarina because he's still a pretty young centre-back. After that, we've got Jeff Cameron, who was 77 at the start of FIFA 16, but this is another one a lot like Bojan, who's been downgraded by EA to 76 offline on the latest update of the game. I don't really see EA sort of backtracking and saying, actually, we're going to give you an upgrade again. So I've left him at the rating that he is in the current offline update, which is, of course, a downgrade of 1 to 76, and again, the potential to stay at 76 because he's not one of the youngest players in the squad. After that, we've got Jonathan Walters, someone who's criminally underrated after the season that he had 2 seasons ago on FIFA 16. He was 71 for some reason on FIFA 16. I've upgraded him by 3 to 74. I don't think he was as good this season as the season before, but he was still solid. He still scored some goals. But also, on the latest update of the FIFA 16 game, he is 74 now. So I think EA have seen the issue and the mistake that they made and upgraded him duly to a 74, which is quite nice. So I've left him at that overall as well. After that, we've got Glenn Whelan, who was 75 at the start of FIFA 16 and got a January upgrade to 76. I have left him at that rating. I feel as if that's pretty fair for Glenn Whelan, so I've sort of left him the same. Then we've got Ibrahim Afellay, who was 77 overall at the start of the game. Can you believe that this kid is 30 years old? He's 30 years of age. It feels as if he's only been about for like 5 years, but Ibrahim Afellay, the 30-year-old Dutchman, I've left the same at 77. Not exactly he didn't stand out at all, did he really? I mean, based on that, I suppose I could give him a downgrade to 76, but he's still 77 on the game, so I thought I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. But you guys, of course, may think that Afellay deserves a downgrade. If you do think that, then drop it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it. After that, we've got Peter Crouch, who was 76 at the start of the game. I've given him a downgrade to 75. Again, aging, but also, again, EA had given him a downgrade on the latest version of the game anyway. So it's not my opinion here. I'm just predicting what EA will do, and I don't see them backtracking. So I've left him at 75, which means a downgrade of 1. After that, we've got Joselu, who scored some pretty important goals for Stoke and played quite a lot of games towards the end of the season, or sort of the second half of the season. He was 75 overall at the start of the game. I have upgraded him by 1 because of his goal scoring, on a fairly semi-regular basis, to 76, so only +1 upgrade, and the potential to grow by a further 2 in career mode to 78. And then the final player is Stephen Ireland, who was 75 overall at the start of the game, and I have left him at 75 overall for FIFA 17 predictions, and with the potential of 75 as well. But that brings an end then to my predictions. If you have enjoyed, feel free to hit the likes button. Again, if you've got any qualms or disagreements, then drop them in the comment section nicely. I would love to hear what your thoughts are for the predictions of the Stoke squad, ratings-wise, for FIFA 17. It's been a pleasure, though, ranting to you guys today. Have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
No, that's not me. Act like a waste man, that's